Welcome to this episode of Our College, Your Voices. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. It is no surprise that education is changing. Technology has changed, the classroom experience has changed, and we're in that pandemic that has uprooted any sense of traditional education in the midst of this season as well. As the college began considering what course offerings were looking like, Andrew Buckle began conversations with faculty about what they needed to help the 21st century college student, especially as we moved towards becoming a predominantly 8-week serving institution. One thing that was learned was that faculty may be content experts, but are not necessarily curriculum developers and designers. As a result, Stephanie Hopper and Andrew began brainstorming how to support faculty in redeveloping their courses, whether that was for an 8-week, 16-week, Learn Anywhere, or a totally different course format. In an effort to support faculty, they created a team of curriculum designers to share their best practices and help their faculty workshop through redesigning a current course or courses for the spring 2021 term. Their training focused on rethinking the planning process, Ivy Learn best practices, and rethinking textbooks and OER. Additionally, they focused on student engagement techniques and rethinking assessment practices. Nearly 30 full-time faculty from every school participated, many in chair roles, to invest in a semester-long training to redevelop a course and then showcase it to their peers. Faculty met monthly for several hours each time throughout the fall 2020 term, and then invited colleagues, administrators, and others to showcase their work in December 2020. The result was amazing. Faculty committed their time, and when surveyed, every participant said they would recommend it to others. Let's meet our panel. First up is Stephanie Hopper. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Kara. How are you doing?
Good. How are you today?
Good on this Monday morning. Super happy to be here. I am an educational technology coordinator here in the Central Indy region. I've been here in that role, although my title may have changed over the years. It's been pretty much the same role for over 10 years now.
It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And next up is Andrew Buckle. Andrew, welcome.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Kara. We're excited to showcase the work this team did. I'm Andrew Buckle. I currently serve as the Program Chair of Education for the Indianapolis service area. And I've been at the college for a number of years in different roles as well.
Excellent. Welcome. And last but not least is Charity Bowling. Hi, Charity.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Charity Bowling. I'm the Program Chair of the Respiratory Therapy Program in the Indianapolis area and been at the college for 15 years and had a great opportunity to do this course and learned a lot. So glad I could share my thoughts on it.
Excellent. Well, let's dive in. And I think we'll probably start with Andrew and Stephanie with this first question. Why did you create this program?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start that and let Stephanie add her own comments. So a couple of years ago, I think we began a conversation as a college about becoming, a predominantly 8-week serving institution. And as the college was transitioning to this course structure, I was serving as an 8-week champion at the Indianapolis campus. And we had some other 8-week champions alongside with administrators and some faculty groups. And we were having a lot of discussion about what this could look like. So naturally, there were some current concerns. But one thing I felt like kept hearing was that faculty were interested in retooling their courses, but felt stuck in what to do or how to do it. So we began a conversation with several administrators, including Stephanie, who's with us. And we started asking the question, how might we create course design or redesign training to our faculty within our service area? We know here at Ivy Tech, we have the best faculty and programs within the state, but that doesn't mean we can't continue polishing our skills and our curriculum. No matter what format a class was offered in or would be offered in, we wanted to support the faculty and ultimately the students in making sure our courses continue to be the best they could be. It's also important to note that we started our planning in fall of 2019, rolled out the training in the fall of 2020, so we had to pivot a few times on how and what the training looked like too. Stephanie and I started to list topics that we had heard faculty want support in, and we started brainstorming how we could help them kind of overcome any hurdles they were having. So that's kind of where we started.
I would definitely add, just like Dr. Buckle said, it really grew out of this 8-week conversation of transitioning courses into that 8-week format. And during this time, we were also kind of rewriting some of the course modalities. So new modalities came online for us or on board for our faculty to work with, like blended and the Learn Anywhere and virtual. And we decided to expand it, I think, also to really not just like Dr. Buckle said, yes, our faculty are experts in their field, in their area, but I'm an adjunct for the visual communications program. I'm also an educational technologist, so I have an idea and understanding of course design and curriculum design, but a lot of my colleagues may not. I realized, a lot of my colleagues in the visual communications program, maybe they weren't experts. So looking at that, getting them to learn how to look at course design, curriculum design, and also looking at those new modalities that just kind of came online for all of Ivy Tech during the 2019 semester.
So you started this new thing, and then you had to sell it to people. How was it received by faculty and by administration?
Well, getting the idea off the ground certainly took some work, but having the support of our Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, Dr. Brown, and others made it really a lot easier. And so Stephanie and I met lots of times, and we continued to brainstorm who could be experts in certain areas of the course development. And we asked them to join our team. All of our trainers appreciated to share their expertise with the broader faculty outside of their schools. So as far as faculty participants, we had nearly every school represented. I think roughly around 15 different disciplines. After each session, we would survey the faculty and ask them what they thought. And then we had kind of a end of program survey, and everyone who responded to that said that they learned something, they would recommend it to others. And so our team took that to mean that it was pretty worthwhile. I think faculty aren't going to sugarcoat anything. If it's not worth their time, they wouldn't recommend it to someone else. And so to see nearly every participant say, hey, this was worthwhile, and have several people ask when we were going to do it again type of thing, which we had never agreed to do necessarily. That was a different conversation we would have later on. The fact that they recommended it to others was kind of a neat way to cement to us that it was a worthwhile endeavor.
Yeah, and I think, when we were initially planning this was during 2019, pre-COVID, that fall semester, kind of developing it to get ready to roll out in the spring. This was a face-to-face, would have been a face-to-face professional development experience. And we really had it limited to 15 people. And since it was new, we were curious, we started marketing it, sending it out, made some flyers. I actually physically went around to other departments during in-service week just to let them know, hey, this is something we're working on. It's being developed. I'll send a link, you can sign up and let us know your interest in it. And then interestingly enough, as COVID, I guess maybe one good thing that came out of it, it turned into a virtual program. And we had, I don't remember the numbers, Andrew, if you do, but we had like 40 plus people really. I can't remember how many people signed up, wanted to participate. The final was around 30 that we ended up taking. So it was really exciting, to see that support from administration, them really putting it out there for us. And seeing the numbers grow and being able to reach a larger audience. I mean, first it was going to be a small, intimate, I think 15 people, but it was really great to see all the different schools being able to participate like that.
And I think just that, and you mentioned this a little bit, Stephanie, just the sheer volume of applicants. We had originally kind of tried to take a playbook out of talent development's process, application, supervisor approval or something along those lines, to make sure that they really understood that this isn't just, kind of come and go as you want and those kind of things. And so even knowing that we had all of those steps, I don't remember how many total applications we had, probably somewhere in the upper 40s, maybe 50s. And as we started thinking about, the venue, which became Zoom, we had to start thinking, okay, we were able to more than double our original plan. I think we originally planned on having about 15 in an in-person training. Of course, that's one of the things we pivoted on, as Stephanie mentioned. It was neat to see that we could double our size and still maintain some of that intimacy in the small groups conversations that we had planned and have people sharing out and those kind of things. So it worked out really nice. And of course, administration certainly was appreciative. Having a certificate available to our faculty who completed the training, I think, was a really exciting component. Faculty were able to use that for their reclassification portfolio, which we were really excited to be able to offer to them.
Excellent. That's a great benefit. Charity, I'm going to point you at this point this question to you first, and then I think Andrew and Stephanie probably also learned some things that they might want to fill in. What did you learn now that you've completed the training?
One thing that I learned is, just like Andrew and Stephanie have mentioned, we have fantastic faculty here. And I think that when you get a bunch of individuals together that have a passion for teaching, the ideas that we can pull from each other and learn from each other. Sometimes I didn't think the breakout, sections or the breakout rooms that we did the small activities in were long enough because we were all sharing so much information. So I think that it reinforces that we have so many people that we can resource within the college to help us build our curriculum and to learn new ideas from. And coming from the health science area, we're very face-to-face. So for me, I wanted to learn, how can I teach during this pandemic a more exciting or more engaging classroom, because I felt like I was lost without having my props. And so instead of being able to pull in the different equipment and write on the boards and do things that we were traditionally doing in the classroom, now I had to learn to do it virtually and by other means, videos, things like that. So this course really assisted with that.
There was a real just-in-time element for you, it sounds like.
Very much so. When we went to 8-week courses, that was one challenge for our curriculum because of the content. But we were excited. Well, I should say I was excited about it. I think everybody was nervous about it. But then I think for me, I have great support staff, a good team. So for me, it's the enthusiasm of going back and sharing information with them so we can continue to build our program. So we've tried several things since I received the certificate in one of my courses, and some have worked well, and some we got to tweak, and that's okay. That's what good teachers do. And so I think that it really is beneficial for anybody that wants a refresher course, or maybe they've gone through master teachers and it's been a while and they just want to steal ideas from individuals that are specialists in education and IT and things to just bring a better involved classroom.
Andrew and Steph, any big learnings that you had from the program?
For me, I just in my role in the college, I'm involved in some trainings and some professional development opportunities that we offer to our faculty. And what I think my biggest takeaway was that collaboration that Charity was just talking about between the faculty. Some of our breakout rooms were very intentional, that we would make sure we would set them up so that they would be different disciplines, making sure we didn't have the same disciplines in a breakout room to maybe change those conversations. But that peer-to-peer learning, it was amazing. So me coming up as an ed tech and telling you this, but you having, a fellow faculty member teaching this content, that really changed, I think, the feel of the training and made it this really collaborative, really these amazing conversations. That's probably my biggest takeaway. We really need more of that peer-to-peer experience. I
would certainly echo any of the things that Charity or Stephanie just said. To me, one of the things that I took away from that was kind of the value of whether it's in your specific discipline or program area, or even in your school, whatever that looks like, the value of taking some time and getting those people together to talk about what you're teaching and how you're teaching and those kind of things. Here in the Indianapolis campus, I have a few other full-time faculty who work in the education program. We have some adjunct faculty as well, and that probably mirrors in varying volumes across the state. But one of the things I found myself doing more often is in whether it's meetings or scheduling time specifically for our team to get together and just talk about, what are you doing in your class? What does that look like? What's worked? What hasn't worked? Especially when we're talking about teaching in a virtual space. And it's fantastic, because I always say that when you start hearing somebody else's ideas, it starts creating new ones in your own mind. And I think that's the value and the benefit of collaboration. But do we take the time to actually carve that out? And it doesn't have to be this big, long, elaborate thing. It can be fairly informal, actually. And I found a lot of value for that personally in my own teaching. And I find that it helps a lot of other faculty when they get to be a part of that conversation. So that was one big thing for me. But I also say, just get a good plan together. find out what people are wanting to learn and try to be intentional about having those kind of conversations, whether that be in an informal or formal way. And I think you'll find there's a lot of benefit and it's time well spent.
One other thing I learned is Dr. Buckle has this really amazing sticky note little trick for designing an alignment of curriculum. And I think we've all stolen it. So yeah, that was really, I don't know if you have a name for it. I call it the sticky note method, but it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I have to agree there, Stephanie. Andrew, I just want to tell you, we're using that now to schedule our clinical time. So we use your sticky note when we're using our different clinical sites because we use the central Indiana and surrounding counties and even go to the east side of Indiana for clinical. So we have been using your sticky note method to separate the clinical sites, but then our students for distance and to look at that. So I think you should patent it.
Yeah, I'm laughing. Sticky note method. Maybe that's the official. I don't have an official title for it. For those who have visited my office when I'm designing courses, will have definitely seen my sticky notes on a blank wall or something like that. I've also taken a conference room over plenty of times and used giant whiteboard spaces to put my sticky notes, or during a pandemic, my dining room table, and just told my children not to touch anything for a quick bit. But yes, the sticky note method was one, I think, a highlight for folks. And I can't tell you where I found it. I'm not sure I'm creative enough to say that I came up with it in my own head, but I'm sure it was something I stole or modified from somewhere on the internet at one point in life. But I'm glad it's helped out.
It sounds like we need to do a video edition of the podcast at some point so Andrew can demonstrate this to everybody.
I would be more than happy to.
I agree.
All right. Well, we may get that done. Very good. What were some of the biggest takeaways for you, Charity, as a participant?
One is just the tools that I could put in my toolbox. I had never heard, to be honest, of Jamboard. So I've played around with Google Forms, but I'm using them more now. And so that really helped. And I still don't think I'm very good with Google Forms yet because I keep wondering where they disappear to. So I will figure it out one day. And I'm still uncertain what a cloud is because that just... for the computer world, that makes no sense to me, but I'm learning. So I think that, and I think just the resources, being able to reach out to, I've got Stephanie on my speed email because I ask that group questions all the time that I don't understand. Andrew was moving up into that level too, probably. But I think just the resources within collaboration within each other, it's just nice to reach out to a discipline that's not your own, that is different, to get ideas so that you can bring that back to the classroom and not be afraid to try it. And then hopefully we're going back, if we're a program chair, and sharing it with our team members so that we can help them grow as individuals as well. I appreciate these opportunities.
Well, as you know, if you've listened to the podcast, we end every episode with a call to action. So this week, our call to action is that your campus can do this too. You heard a lot today about just talking to each other and collaborating. So get a team together and start the conversation on your campus about local best practices. Don't be afraid to ask for help from other experts on other campuses as well, because our Indianapolis team did that also. If you're not ready for a full-scale program, find ways to collaborate with other discipline-specific colleagues or even across disciplines. I think one of the other silver linings of COVID is it's really easy to drop in on somebody else's class. They just have to send you the Zoom link and the time, and you can do that. So make space to collaborate on a smaller scale just to get the ideas going. Thanks again to everybody for joining this episode of Our College, Your Voices. I want to thank today's panel, Stephanie Hopper, Educational Technologies Coordinator at Systems Office, Andrew Buckle, Program Chair and Associate Professor for Education, and Charity Bowling, Program Chair in the Respiratory Therapy Program, both from Indianapolis. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. You can connect with me on Twitter at KNM Tweets. Our producer is Sarah Ferguson. You can reach us by email at ourcollegeyourvoices@ivytech.edu. Don't forget, if you're an Ivy Tech faculty or staff member, you can join our Microsoft Teams listener community. I send out instructions on how to join that community every Thursday. Our website, where you'll find links to our show notes and more information, is ivytech.edu/podcast. Production assistance for this and every episode provided by Becky Campbell and the Ivy Tech Community College Creative Services team. Our podcast concept is by Matthew Pittman. Theme music and post-production services provided by Jen Eads at the Brassy Broadcasting Company. And we will talk to you next time on Our College, Your Voices.